There are 5 main troop types in Rise of Kingdoms, and I'm sure you've heard about the Tier 4 units. The most common unit in the game in my opinion, the most powerful also for most players in my opinion. I'm going to be discussing how you unlock Tier 4 units, and I'm going to give you the best path to push Tier 4 tech as soon as possible, while also maximizing your speed up value. If you are newer to Rise of Kingdoms, then I assure you this video is going to benefit you a lot, and is certainly something that you should be watching, so that you don't make mistakes and waste your speed ups, resources, and even possibly your money. Now, there are 5 main unit types like I said in the intro. We go into let's just say the barracks here. You've got your Tier 1 infantry. These are the weakest. You really are not going to be using them in the open field past like the earliest stages of the game. Then you've got your green units, your Tier 2 units. These are fairly okay for like the early middle section of the game. After that, they're almost useless. Tier 3 you're going to actually be using for a fair amount of time in the really early game, and they're certainly quite useful. After that, they're useless. You can see I literally have 0 of them. And then Tier 4. Tier 4 are probably your main troop type for almost every player, unless you're spending a lot of money or you have a lot of farm accounts. Tier 4 are probably the most common troop in the game in my opinion. Most players push to unlock Tier 4 as fast as they can, but they also do make a lot of mistakes along the way. So today I'm going to be giving you the most in-depth guide as I can for Tier 4. Now before we get right into Tier 4, I'm just going to quickly talk about one thing with buildings, only one. And that's your City Hall requirement for each troop type. To actually unlock the right academy level for Tier 2 units, you need City Hall level 8. To unlock the right academy level for Tier 3 units, you need City Hall level 16. To unlock the right academy level for the Tier 4, you need City Hall level 21. So you should be trying to still focus on like these City Hall levels to make sure that you are prepared once you get to the Tier 4, so that you can have a high enough academy, and also, wink wink, your alliance center, which is a main thing I discussed in my buildings video. So if you don't know about the buildings, trust me, watch the video, cards up in the top. I'm pointing at it, you just can't see me. So here's the thing. When going for Tier 4 units, you shouldn't just go straight into the military technology tree, go ballistic and just push straight to Tier 4, maxing everything while you can, completely ignoring economic technology. Economic technology actually saves you a bunch of speed ups. First, you got masonry. Very cheap technology that gives you 15% extra building speed, which is kind of insane. Now, I would max masonry if I was you. Then I would push as far as I can into writing. Writing I would max as well. That's 10% research speed for a relatively cheap cost. Then I would try again, and I would try and push to mathematics. If you can get to mathematics to at least 6 out of 10 before you get Tier 4, you're going to be loving life. And I would probably get engineering to at least 4 or 5 as well, because that's a lot of building speed. But mainly mathematics matter the most here, and I definitely do recommend them. At least 6 or 7 out of 10. I personally had them at 6 out of 10 when I got Tier 4. And it's going to save you probably about, 3 days of speed ups, 4 days of speed ups. So definitely worth it in the end. Now, another thing to note is while you're really early game, let's say you just started an account maybe a day or 2 ago, you probably haven't maxed all of these technologies here. All of these technologies at the start right here, and then all of your economic technology, your irrigation, up to your masonry, can actually be gained for free. If I zoom out on my map and I go to exploration, I could send out my scouts into caves and also mainly these villages. If you find tribal villages in your really early game and you don't have the technology max that I mentioned, when you click on these villages, there is a chance that they give you that technology upgrade for free. So for the first 2 or 3 days, usually, for the most early game players, what I would do is I would try and focus a bit more on that military technology, because you're going to be maxing all of this economic technology for free anyways, and that's going to set you up pretty good in the long run if you do that. So by the time you have Tier 2 units though, you should have all of this technology maxed, since Tier 2 aren't too hard to get if you're focusing on them. The minimum requirements to get Tier 2, you need 3 in whichever troop you're trying to get. So if you're trying to get light cavalry, I would take up horsemanship to level 3, and boom, I got Tier 2 cavalry available to unlock if my academy is level 8. If I'm trying to get archers, I get the improved fletching to level 3. And then if I'm trying to get infantry, I get ironworking to level 3. Pretty self-explanatory. I don't actually need them to level 5. So if you know you're going to be in a relatively peaceful kingdom at the start of the game, I say don't actually push these technologies to level 5, because the stats, yes, they're nice, but if you're not fighting, they're going to be fairly useless. Then tracking, to my knowledge, you only need to actually get to level 3. I have heard that pathfinding is still very good to get to level 5, and I do agree, it's a lot of march speed, so preferably I would say you get pathfinding to level 5. But I mean, I think You may still have to get it for camouflage, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure level 3 is actually the highest you need it, but definitely worth it for the march speed so you can run around a bit quicker. Then looking into tier 3 units, once again you need to actually get each of these to level 3. So having anything here to level 3 will allow you to unlock whichever T3 unit you want. So if you want T3 swordsman, you get the buckler shield to level 3. Archers, you get leather armor to level 3. Cavalry, you get scale armor to level 3. And then you've unlocked yourself the ability to research T3 units. T3 units require Academy 16, and like I said, T2 require Academy level 8. Then now here's where it gets a bit tricky when you're pushing to T4. A lot of players end up maxing camouflage, which isn't the worst, but I mean, not the most important. But then I see one thing, a lot of people end up maxing trying to max a lot of these technologies before they get T4. I fell down that trap personally. I was taking combat tactics up to like level 5. I took defensive formations up to level 3 and herbal medicine up to level 5 before I even got T4. Probably not the smartest of me. Probably was a waste of my speed ups and time. These are very powerful technologies, do not get me wrong, but you don't actually need them past like level 1 or 2, I'm pretty sure, to get yourself T4 units. You need cartography to 3 out of 5 to get T4, but to get cartography to 3 out of 5, I think you just need a max camouflage, and camouflage does need maxed pathfinding, I think. I don't think it needs max tracking. Once you get cartography to level 3 out of 4, then you can come get your T4 units, and then you've made it. You've made it to T4. But don't leave yet, there's still one more thing I want to discuss. It's saving your speed ups when you're upgrading to T4. I already mentioned, of course, upgrading your mathematics and your writing to save yourself research speed ups inside of your economic technology trees. And I did also mention upgrading engineering and stuff to save you speed ups on building, which will in turn, I guess, save you research speed ups in a way. But I haven't discussed being in an alliance yet. Being in an alliance, you can request for help. Requesting for help allows you to save speed ups on whatever you request for. You can see here I requested help on my healing and it saved me 3 hours of speed ups, which I would have otherwise had to use if I was healing troops. Now this may not seem amazing, but when you're doing 100-day upgrades, it saves you more like hundreds of days worth of speed ups. And T4 costs about 30 days to upgrade in total. Not 30, it takes about 50 days in upgrades. So 50 days of upgrades worth is definitely not something you should gloss over. Being in Alliance should reduce that by about 10 days, maybe even more. So definitely worth being in Alliance. Also, of course, like I've mentioned in many other videos, you gain more development technology, so 8% research speed here. And then down here, you get another 15% research. Definitely very good. Also, if you can get the Counselor role, which is a R4 title, you save some research speed here, but this isn't the end of the world. And then also, if you're trying to get even more benefits, an alliance with a holy site will increase your research speed. You can see down here, in the Wisdom Altar, you've increased your research speed by 5%. And these you will have unlocked, I'm sure, by the time you get to T4 units. When you're trying to get T4, you should also keep in mind, runes are a thing. Having a rune is going to save you probably about 3 to 4 days worth of speed ups in total for each T4 unit. So I think that getting a rune is definitely worth it. Just saving yourself 3 days of speed ups for marching a troop maybe like a couple of meters or a couple of minutes. Definitely something you should try to do. You won't have this higher level of a rune at the early game. Rune level 5 definitely is not very common in the early game. It's actually impossible to get till you get your Lost Temple. So if you can find yourself a level 4 Rune of Wisdom, probably at one of these earlier level holy sites. For example, if we go down here, one of these level 3 holy sites, most people will have T3 at this point. You'll be trying to get T4. So I'm sure you will have a marker on whichever runes are research runes. So if you can get yourself a research rune before you do major researching, in all situations, this is going to benefit you a lot. Another thing, if you're very late game for whatever reason and you haven't really got T4 units, then A, you're probably not doing some of the things I've said before, or B, you're not playing actively enough, but you can do one thing to, I guess, get a few more buffs. You can request for the Scientist title, and this is going to give you some more research speed so you can get yourself T4 for a little bit cheaper. Now you know how to get to your T4 units, and you know that once you get T4, the only thing left to do, really, is to upgrade all your technology that gives you stat points like attack and defense. If you are doing that, I do recommend focusing on one troop, and I have a video where I go fully in depth on how to focus on one troop and give you the most value with the troops that you are focusing. So if you are early game and you are focusing on that one troop, whichever troop it may be, I will give you the most value I can with the link on the end screen of this video. If you also have any questions, you can join the Discord server and ping me and I will respond pretty much as soon as I can. I thank you for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.